Welcome back. We're here to look ahead to Saturday's match between Swansea and Newcastle. Barnes will start with Swansea. Really tough opening day fixture away at the champions, but they got a 2-2 draw. Really impressive.
It was a very impressive performance. Monk couldn't have asked for anything more from his side, really. To go behind twice against the champions and come back shows superb character, and they played well as well. Montero down the left, I haven't seen anyone boss Ivanovic like that for a very long time. Ayew down the right did the same. Gomez gave him a good focal point. So many positives for Monk to take out of them. There's a lot of questions whether they'll be able to replicate last season's success, but although it is only the first game of the season, all the signs so far suggest that they can. It was Chelsea weren't at their best, you've got to say that, but nothing should be taken away from Swansea, even though it was against 10 men. I think Swansea might have been able to get the draw, even if Chelsea had stayed with 11. It was that good a performance.
Definitely was, and I think you mentioned Gomez there. People are saying, is he a good enough sort of striker to lead Swansea's line this season? Because they lost Wilfred Bonney last season, who was their star player up front, and I think he certainly can be good enough. I mean, certainly you can't question his effort. He always runs, and I think as long as you put the right players around him, even if he has a dry spell, I certainly think Swansea they should be scoring enough goals. When you look at the players around him, you mentioned Montero, fantastic game there. Ayew had a great debut, brilliant goal, the way he took that, the drag back and then finding the corner, really good finish. And you look at their sort of central midfielders, Shelvey, Ki Sung-young, Sigurdsson, they're all players who can score goals, all good at shooting from outside the box, you sort of making those late runs into the box. So certainly, you might question, you talk about all those players, you might think, are they good enough defensively if they got that sort of holding player? But I certainly think if Gomez goes off the ball, they should have enough goals from wide areas and through the middle.
They certainly look to have a good squad as well going into this match as well. They'd be probably favourites now going into this match. And Newcastle, they started off with a decent 2-2 draw against Southampton. Southampton were very impressive last season to do that in Steve McClaren's first game when Newcastle were battling relegation for a lot of last season is a positive. There's not too much to take out of the game. They didn't start too well, but they fought back, took a 2-1 lead, and then just couldn't hold out. Shane Long's header getting the point for Southampton. Cissé's goal should give him confidence. Wijnaldum's debut scoring on debut will give him confidence. So there are positives to take out from it. It'll be interesting to see how they get on against Swansea.
I think it is a decent result for them, especially when you consider that Southampton, they've already been playing European fixtures this season. I think Southampton would have been a bit more ready for the game, and when Pele opened the scoring quite early, you thought maybe this is Southampton's day. But you have to credit Newcastle for the way they fought back. I thought the second goal, the cross from Overton, was absolutely brilliant. I saw someone tweet at the time when it went in, Overton's done his first good cross for about 4 years, and it was a great header from Wijnaldum, who I didn't particularly know was that good a player in the air. I thought he was sort of more of a tricky player on the ball, but like you said, a great debut for him. And you mentioned about Cisse there. I think Mitrovic, he came on and sort of had that really rash challenge, didn't he? I think some people are saying he's lucky not to get sent off, but Mitrovic's goal record, if he can come in and score some goals for them, I think Newcastle, they shouldn't be as in trouble as they are last season when you look at their squad. But it's whether McClaren, he hasn't managed in the Premier League for a long time, and it's whether he's up to the job really.
For me, I think he is up to the job. I think he's a very good club manager. He's had failures some places, but he went to 20, did well. He got Middlesbrough to European finals. There's only people. I think he's tainted in England because of his time with England. I think that Wally with the Brolly thing, people don't think he's a very good manager, but obviously Derby collapsed at the end of last season. That was quite poor, but he did a good job with Derby up to that point. The question for Newcastle now, and why this will be such a good test against Swansea, is can they get back pushing up to European promotions? Because they shouldn't be in the relegation battle. They're too big a club for that. Can they get up pushing for promotion for Europe? Sorry, because Swansea, Newcastle will want to do what Swansea did last season. They're the sort of team to aspire to be for Newcastle right now, because Swansea have done a very good job of slowly but surely climbing the ranks, and that's Newcastle's job now. Is McClaren the man to do it? I think he probably is.
Certainly, I think it's a big game for Newcastle, because if they do want to get towards that sort of 7th, 8th, 9th, around those sort of places, and there's a lot of competition now, Stoke, Palace, you look at some of Southampton, Swansea, there's good teams there, and if Newcastle want to become one of those, this is a big game for them. What's your score prediction?
It's quite a tough one to predict, isn't it? As I say, Swansea will probably be favourites, and I'll probably give them the edge. Newcastle, they did well against Southampton. They'll be hoping probably to get another draw here, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Swansea win.
2-1 Swansea. I fancy Swansea as well here. I mean, I think Swansea at home, I think defensively they look solid. Ashley Williams, still a great defender. I think they'll just close this one out 2-0. So both back in Swansea to win this one. Thanks for joining us.